Hello, my faithful servants of the gaming gods. We hath returned with another sermon from the Gaming Memories Pod, the one true gaming podcast, the only podcast anointed by the gaming gods themselves, who are, in their true form, Miyamoto the Father, Kojima the Son, and Carmack the Holy Ghost. This is the only podcast that officially is backed by the gods themselves, and I am their mouthpiece on the earth, your host, Mr. RoboClip, Mr. Cade Call, and essentially whatever I say is true because I talk to God, and whatever you think contrary to what I say must be false, so shut your brains off, sit back, and relax, and let me take you on a journey through the gaming memories of today's guests. That's right, plural. We have two guests. We have, give it up for a drum roll, please. The motherfucking side project with a K. Mortal Kombat, it's so edgy. Combat with a K. Or Korn the band with the K. Ooh, Projekt with the K. They got an edge to them. It's hosted by our good friends, Chazzy and Juicebox. I really regret not asking them where their nicknames came from, because the more I think about it, both nicknames, Chazzy and Juicebox, especially Juicebox, sounds like some sort of weird sex slang of some weird fetish that some asshole in the middle of Indiana in the back of his barn is doing something they call, quote, the Juicebox. But I'm too afraid to Google it. But I just, anyway, I wish I would have found out where their nicknames came from, because Chazzy and Juicebox are both badass fucking nicknames. Anyway, both dudes are super chill. They host the Side Project podcast, and it's like a geek culture podcast with comedy flavorings on it. They talk about cosplay, gaming news, retro games, all things nerd, media, music, movies. It's in my opinion, it's more about them because they're both really, really funny, and they have an awesome, how do you say? They have an awesome, not charisma. God, I'm having a brain fart. What's that word? When you have something going with someone, vibe, connection. God, what's the word? My brain is so stupid. Chemistry. Samsonite. I was way off. Plus 10 internets to me for a Dumb and Dumber reference. They have an awesome chemistry. And I'll be honest, I kind of just let them fly off the rails on this episode. We had a pretty tight time constraint, so I didn't get as much time with them as I would have liked. I will definitely have these motherfuckers on again because they were a hootin' hollerin' grand old time. Check them out. Side Project Podcast, Instagram. We can find it on any of the major podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, blah, 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 blah. Give them a like, give them a follow. If you feel so inclined, send them a couple of dick pics, because that's what friends do. We send each other dick pics. You know what I used to do? It's even worse than dick pics, and I'm actually surprised I'm going to admit this, but it's okay because like 5 people listen to this podcast. I went through a period in my early 20s where my favorite thing to do was to send pictures or back when cell phones first came out, you could send videos. I had like this Nokia flip or Razor flip. I just remember the first cell phone that I could record video, and the video quality was terrible. It was like the Game Boy camera quality. It was barely color, pixelated as shit. But I would take videos of me shitting and send it to my friends, and they would get so mad because in the beginning, I don't think there was thumbnails. Like it would just say video, and everyone was excited, and they kept falling for it. Oh, I mean, eventually they just, we don't open any videos from Cade. If Cade texts you a video, for the love of God, don't open it. But I got a lot of people for a solid 90 days. I was just bombing people. Take this shit video. Ha ha! Happy Monday. Anyway, that's a little over the top. I'm slightly embarrassed about that. Not enough to not tell you, but I'm slightly embarrassed about it because it's kind of it's a dick. I would rather get a dick pic from a friend than some shit coming out of an asshole. I'm such a terrible human being. I've repented though. I'm an adult now. Anyway, you can send them some dick pics. They're nice guys. They're not afraid if dick is delicious, and they're gonna be chill about it. Check them out. They are funny as hell, especially if you're into more content that's like in the stratosphere, the orbit of gaming. Like I said, they do news, culture, a lot of cosplay, streamers, bunch of stuff that I don't even know anything about. I don't follow. I would love to get a cosplayer and a streamer on, but I don't follow those worlds Worlds at all, so probably not going to happen anytime soon. So if you're into that kind of orbit, then check them out. And if you want all of that subject matter served to you in a dish with the comedic sprinklings, then Side Project Podcast is going to be your motherfucking jam. As always, I will put links to all their stuff in the podcast description. Give them a like, give them a follow, and remember, kids, listen to the gaming gods. Follow the rules. Don't think for yourself. Let me think for you, and you have the best life possible. I know the way. I'm the big bad. I'm the smartest man. I'm the one that the gods have favored, and nobody else can talk for them except for me. I am the gatekeeper to Valhalla. All souls must travel through me. And if you want to send me money and give me your wives and stuff too, that seems to be sort of par of the course for this thing. I'm still waiting to get rich and to get a bunch of wives. I thought that's how this worked, but it's not happening yet. What the hell? What the hell, guys and gals? Anyway, spread the good news of the gaming gospel, like, share, comment, and ye shall be blessed. As always, I say these things in the name of the gaming gods themselves, Minamoto the Father, Kojima the Son, and Carmack the Holy Ghost. Amen, and enjoy the show. So I ran across you guys because you had Patrick Hickey Jr. on, like a lot of my past guests.
Yes,
I just still.
Patrick Hickey.
How was that?
He is an awesome dude, man. He's so knowledgeable, obviously, being that he's a journalist and everything. And how did we find him, actually?
I think he found us.
I think he found us. Yes, he did.
He found us.
He found us.
That's how he rolls.
Yeah, man. He's a good guy, though, dude. He informed us of so much. We try to pride ourselves on knowing as much as that we can know, but he taught us so much more.
And then even if we don't, I think if we know we're going to talk about a certain topic or whatever, we'll try to just really kind of focus in on that and research that, the days coming up before we actually shoot. And he was just talking to us about a lot of stuff, even like the GTA stuff, how it almost didn't come out because of a bad code or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh? I was just like, I played it just fine. What are you talking about? Because I wouldn't know any better. He started, kind of informing us, teaching us on the background stuff that happens. And it was nuts. It was a good experience with him. And it was very refreshing to kind of hear a different side of the gaming world that we don't always, think or talk about.
Yeah, and he's a knowledgeable guy. And he's a funny guy too. That's what's cool. It's it wasn't just a straightforward and then this happened. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was actually really easy to talk to and relatable and everything like that.
And his voiceover work was hilarious too. He tripped us out a couple times doing the side project stuff.
Yeah, he's good. He's a G. He can hang for sure. He can hang. So you guys, speaking of comedy and sort of jokes, I don't know if you think of yourself this way, but after I saw you had him on, I started stalking you guys, watching clips.
Oh, nice.
You guys are comedy based too, in my opinion. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, we have a little comedic touch. That's how we write it, in our bios and stuff too. And anybody that asks us any questions, at first we didn't label it quote unquote as that. If you go back and look at our previous episodes, because we just hit a year on November 4th was our year anniversary, and we took the time on camera and off camera to look back at when we first started, and we had I had a lot more confidence, and I thought we were I'm joking, but I thought we were the best podcast, first coming out. I was like, man, we got this, we're golden. Yeah. And then a year later we looked back and we were
what
oh
the
my
hell
god,
was that?
We fucking sucked, man. No wonder people didn't give a shit. You know what I mean?
For me, it was a little rough at first, just because it's my first time being in front of a camera, not doing other stuff, and it's just actually talking, looking into a camera, doing that kind of stuff. I know we all record little selfies and Snapchats or whatever it is you do, but once you sit down in front of a camera and you have a set playlist of stuff you're going to talk about, it was just a different experience for me. So I was always real stiff, or just if you watch the first couple episodes, I would just look at Chaz.
Yeah.
I wasn't gazing into his beard or anything like that. It was just
he might have been.
I just happened
He was
to
probably
be
looking at
that.
it going, oh man, I wish I could grow a beard like that.
I had a good beard.
He did back in the day.
I had a good beard.
He did. I would rub it sometimes. Wait, did you not want to put that out there? Okay, my bad.
But initially it wasn't so much that we wanted to do comedy or comedic based.
I think it's just our true.
It just happened to play out that
way. Our
way.
true goofy selves just kind of came out. The sides of us that we never really showed on social media or anything like that. And, just kind of stuff that you do with your boys, you know what I mean? Like that stupid, goofy, like, I was about to, I don't know why, but I was about to say kinky for some reason.
Nah, man.
That's why I stuttered, that goofy, kinky shit. Like, no, just like that goofy, stupid shit that just happens when you're around your boys and stuff. Just kind of just came out, and we saw that people enjoyed that. So we're like, you know what? Like, why hide it? Let's just go full force with it.
Yeah, nice. And give people a little bit of breakdown of kind of the format, schedule, release, and sort of your pitch on the podcast so people can know what we're talking about.
Awesome. Can I run with this one?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Do it. Take it.
Awesome. So Chaz does all the work. I just show up and like, I'm like, no, honestly, like jokes aside though, like I show up, like he'll send me like, hey, we're going to cover this kind of stuff. Make sure you're on top of this. But we tend to shoot on Wednesdays typically. If we can stretch it to a Thursday just because of my work schedule, we'll shoot on a Thursday, but we try to release on Monday, early Mondays between 12 o'clock. It just depends. Like, time scheduling is always different. Like with the editing.
Has a regular job, and I do nothing with my life, so I have nothing else going. No, I'm just kidding. I've actually never put it out there. It's not a big deal. I'm not hiding it or anything. I mean, people that know me would know, but I just don't think I've ever said it on the podcast. But I'm actually in the cannabis industry, so my schedule is like a lot more flexible than Juice's. So, but yeah, I mean, we're the Side Project podcast, and we named it that. That name actually has a backstory. I won't get deep into it, but when I was a young kid, I was into like bands and stuff like that, and it was actually me and my brother's band name way back in the day that started just as that, a side project, and then we never did anything with it. And then later in life, coming into the podcast like years later, we just kind of wanted to talk about games and movies and passionate things that we have passions about. And I thought of it like, why don't we bring that name back, because we didn't know what it was going to turn into or anything. And Side Project just kind of fit the name because it turned out to be started as a side project, something we were just going to do for fun. And now we kind of do it a lot more full time than we expected. And it's just that we just talk about games and movies and cosplay a lot. Actually, cosplay community has kind of taken over our podcast a little bit more lately, and just shit like that, man. And we're on YouTube and we're on all the streaming platforms and things like that. And yeah, man, I mean, that's pretty much it. We have a cosplay of the week that we choose every week. And that's just by us finding it. Sometimes people send us shit and we'll go, okay, we'll fucking think about it. But, yeah, and it's just, shit like that.
What episode, if someone's new and they want to check you out, what's your best foot forward? What should they check out first?
Oh, you take it first, Juice.
Damn,
you take
that's
it first.
rough.
What, because we have different favorites, I think, too.
That's rough.
We might agree on the recent favorites, though.
Well, yeah, obviously the recent one's going to be the anniversary episode, but that's like way deep into it. But I think that also kind of helps people between the 50th and the 51st episode, because we kind of did kind of like a flashback thing where we kind of look back and kind of recapped where we started and where we came and like what our future goal is. So like if you're just trying to get like a quick glimpse of that, But my favorite, one of my favorite episodes, I think was episode 7 where we had Jar of Retro, which is Chaz's brother.
And then
we
my
had
other brother.
We had his other brother on there. It was a Christmas episode. It was a really fun episode.
It was when we first started. Yeah. So it's a little more rough on the edges. We're still getting the hang of things, but it was, if you're looking to laugh, that is an episode full of absolute comedy.
And I believe episode 11 was one of our best performing episodes.
Episode 11 is called Nintendo Like Swords, and that episode is one of our best performing episodes, full of a lot of laughs as well. If people, I would say for me though, if you're looking for something that kind of gives a good roundabout about what we're about, anywhere between episode 50 to episode 54, 55 gives, like, literally, I'm sorry, I know you asked for like one, but I'm giving like a broad range. Any of those episodes kind of really give a good like storytelling about what we're about. If you're looking to get interested and check it out and get interested in more, hopefully those give a good one. Our 50th episode, it was like a Halloween episode, and we did a horror bracket, like a movie bracket, and see who won. And we also dressed up, so you get a lot of laughs in that one.
That was a big wiener.
Yeah, and then our 50, he was a big hot dog. And then our 51st episode is the year anniversary, like Juice said, and we kind of look back at stuff, so you'll get a mixture of what we are now, and then a mixture of what we once were, and et cetera, et cetera.
Makes sense. What year were you guys born, if you don't mind me asking?
I know where this is going.
Chazzy, I was born in 88, so I'm 32, if my math is correct.
Okay. I was born in 1990.
All right, Chazzy, was your first console an NES?
It was.
I knew he was gonna.
It
ask
was,
that.
yeah.
I was just listening to his.
100%. Yep.
I was listening to his more recent episode, and that's like he said it's a tradition thing that he does.
Oh, no, yeah.
But I'll let you. I'll let you guess mine.
We'll talk about that. I'll let you. This is your podcast, so we'll let you do your thing.
Well, so I don't. Yeah, I was. Your 88's like a little younger, so it's like, ooh, you could have maybe, depending on how early you got, I've been a 16-bit console.
Yeah.
I wasn't as confident, but luckily I got the 90. You're a 16-bit console, and I'm gonna say the problem is sometimes handhelds get thrown into the mix.
It was a console. It wasn't a handheld.
There
I
you
would
go, a
say.
little hint. There you go.
I'll give you a hint.
I don't even know which one it was, to be honest with you.
It's a 50. It's a 50-50. I'm gonna
It is a
go.
50-50.
I'm gonna say Genesis.
I was big on Genesis, but honestly,
Damn
like
it,
for me,
motherfucker.
Was it the
I think-
NES or the SNES
no,
for you?
64
It's the
for me.
SNES.
It was
then.
64
Yeah,
for you?
I really love
was the
64.
first-
No,
What?
my first console.
you had.
Oh, I thought he was saying favorite. My
No,
bad.
the first that you
okay,
had.
the first that I had would have been NES.
NES?
NES,
okay,
yeah.
okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it would have been an
Oh,
NES.
I would have. I would have at 1990. Like the, yeah, it's true. I could still see an NES.
Yeah, that's like the
Damn.
it's a right. It is a 50-50. I thought maybe it might have been the SNES, but that came out
That's
in
what I was
90,
thinking.
91,
I had that
92.
too.
When did that come
So I
out?
have a little funny story about that. Not to kind of like string out too much, but
Yeah, string it out like cheese.
I had a SNES, I had an NES, I had a 64. I pretty much.
Did you own a Genesis?
I was huge on Nintendo. I had Sega.
The Genesis?
Yeah, the Genesis. And then my older brother thought it'd be funny to kind of sell the stuff one time.
that sucks.
And got rid of all their stuff.
Oh, man.
I know it took kind of like a dark turn there.
Yeah, I thought this was gonna be a happy story. This turned into a really sad story.
No, because it was a happy thing that we kind of got into collecting stuff later on, but then it just he decided to sell all the stuff one time.
Man. Hey, sorry, Kate, if we kind of go off on tangents. We seem to do that a lot. So, like, if anybody's
worry
listening to
about
this
it.
right now and is getting a little glimpse of what we're about, this happens a lot on our podcast. Like we have set topics and then we go off on tangents for like minutes on end, and then we bring it back to the set topic.
But yes,
Yeah,
to
it's
answer
fine by me.
Yeah.
my problem is I go too long because I have the same problem.
Yeah.
My goal is like if I can keep it under 2 hours, that's good.
Yeah,
Because
I
I've
know
had
what
some
you mean.
4 to 5 hour. Yeah. Okay, 88 and 90. Where are you guys from?
Wait. I'm so sorry. I want to know though. What was your first console?
Good question. NES, 85. I was born in 85.
Okay, NES. Yeah.
I got an NES. Like it had been out for a minute. I think we got it in like 93 or 94.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
The 16-bit consoles, I think, were brand new
Yeah.
or almost to come out. But yeah, my brother got it. Similar thing, my older brother got it, which meant I got to play it sometimes when he wasn't around.
when it wasn't around.
Yeah,
Were you player two when you guys were playing together? Were you always Luigi?
I was player 2 with the controller unplugged.
Oh yes,
Not even knowing it was.
I did that with me and my brother Jar of Retro Mike, Jar of Retro on Instagram. That's why I keep saying that. People, he's kind of decently large on Instagram. We used to do that to our younger brother Zane. We used to just leave the controller unplugged, specifically with 64 because he was born later. I think my brother was born in 97, 96. I don't even know. But so his first console I think was the 64, but we would always just leave it unplugged and act like he was playing. So I'm sure my brother feels your pain.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's a classic trick.
Yeah,
I get it now. You're like the annoying little kid you can't play. It ruins the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like especially, it just is what it is. But
It worked up
so I
until
gotta play that a
wireless
little
came
bit.
around.
It
Yeah,
worked until
and then,
wireless controllers came. Yeah, exactly.
Then I did Genesis. I've told this story on the podcast before, super quick. I had my parents were like, okay, we'll get you one, but you got to save up like $68 or something. I don't remember what the Genesis cost, but $68 was a fuck ton of money.
Oh yeah,
for
yeah.
however
Especially
old
for
I was.
a kid.
Yeah. And so I like made a shoebox and I drew Genesis and Sonic on it and like do all this art,
Nice.
put stickers and shit on it. I just did chores for I don't know how long it took. My memory is it took 20 years. I don't really remember. But eventually, yeah, I saved up. So that's kind of my first console that was mine.
Yeah.
They bought me Sonic 2 for Christmas.
Oh hell
Oh,
yeah.
sweet.
I hadn't saved up enough money. And so I just got the game for Christmas and I would just sit and look at the cartridge and read the instruction booklet over and over and over again. Like
one day.
begging people, like going door to door, like, is there anyone that has chores? I'll clean, I'll sweep. Like just trying to make some cash
Yeah.
so I could get that Super Nintendo or the Sega. But yeah, so Sega, technically NES, but Sega is like my first love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you had to kind of grind for it and figure it out.
I had both around that because I was I said I was born in '88, so I had both. But my first one was NES, but I eventually had both. They kind of went hand in hand for me.
What do you remember, both of you, since you both had NES? What do you guys remember from the NES? What sticks out the most?
Oh, right away off the bat for me, the controller sticks out the most for me. That square controller, and I just remember the buttons. I believe the buttons were what are they? What is it called? Is it concave? Where it was like it's in a little bit, right? And it kind of like it fits. You fits your thumb. It's not like a bubble.
It like cusp it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? For some reason, that's one of the things that always stand out for me when I think of the NES is that square controller and touching the buttons. I always liked the way the buttons felt when I was a kid. I don't know why. It's just something that always stands out. And then, of course, Mario. You know what I mean? They're synonymous.
Honestly, it was just, for me, the biggest thing was Mario.
Just right away, just stands. It does, dude.
Yeah, because I think it was one of those games that kind of started a lot of people's journey if you were born in that era. That you were actually able to recollect and remember, say, hey, damn, I'm gonna and it was crazy too, like the graphics that we put up with back then, right?
Yeah, I mean, they were revolutionary though at that time.
At that time, it was crazy. So we were like, what? That's nuts. But then we look back at it now, we're like, damn, I think it was just more of it was one of those games that always kind of stuck with me that I could play hours on end and would not get bored. Even if I'm playing repeating levels to try to get, different stuff or do a better time or something. And then, when you do that little jump from the end of the brick when you're trying to get the little flag, I would try to jump higher every time. It was just it was just one of those games that really stuck out with me and stuck with me throughout my my childhood and then growing up.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm glad you brought up the controller because I learned this from either Patrick Hickey or he introduced me to another guy that writes books called Brett Weiss.
Mm-hmm. One of those two. I think he talked about him on our podcast too, I believe.
Yeah. One of those two brought up that, and I didn't know this because I was so young. I wasn't I was sort of aware of the Master System from Sega. I had one friend that had one and I had seen it. And I knew that the Atari 2600, I knew what it was because I'd seen commercials and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just assumed the NES controller, that was the standard because that's the first thing I played. But as you said, there was a lot of, from what I understand, innovation with that controller. And it was part of the reason why the NES was such a massive success, like the concave buttons, the fact that it didn't have a joystick.
Exactly.
And you go back and you look at the ColecoVision controllers, the Atari, you're like, oh my God.
It was such a big change.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the NES controller was a game changer.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's crazy because you look back at other controllers as well, and a lot of them had when you date back, I can't remember which ones off the top because of course I was only born in '88, so I've never got my hands on a lot of them. But a lot of them even had number pads. Instead of just A and B or X or Y, they had legitimate actual number pads that you would see on a landline phone. And I just what the fuck?
Exactly. Yeah. I've seen that. I think that I forget off the top of my head which one that is, but I've definitely seen that.
I can't remember either.
Yeah, there's a couple of variations, and the NES, the graphics were pretty damn good for the size and affordability.
Oh,
and it took it. I didn't even know about this either. I think Brett Weiss brought this up too. There was what they call the Great Video Game Crash of 85 or 87 or something.
Yeah, I remember.
It's when the Atari games were 2600 was just pumping out a bunch of bullshit games.
Yeah. Just putting out content just to have it out.
Yeah.
Like E.T.
Yes, E.T. The classic, whatever they would, the rumored worst game of all time.
Exactly. The one that they buried in the fucking desert.
Or 64 Superman worse. Some people say that's the worst video game of all time.
Man, dude, that game sucked.
I've never played it. I've never played either, to be honest.
Dude, I remember playing it. At first, I was like, oh, this is cool because you get to fly around as Superman. Did you ever play it, Juice?
No, I
never played it. You get to fly around as Superman, but literally after a few minutes, you start realizing that this sucks.
This is just the gist.
There's nothing to do in this game, dude. It was. I can't remember every little detail of it, but I just remember being super stoked and then being let down. That's all I really remember.
I think sometimes
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, I need to try it now today.
I think sometimes just because of what do you call that?
The hype.
I think sometimes the hype. I think sometimes the hype and expectations because of the franchise that it is, and it does so well in a movie, they think they could translate it to a game. Yeah. It doesn't always translate well, just as games don't always translate well to movies. Because we've seen a number of tragedies with that. You know
exactly.
So that game was rough. I think my cousin might have had it because we all kind of had 64s, NESs, and all that kind of. So So we all kind of like, if I didn't bring mine, he had his. So we were always kind of able to switch out. And
you go to like your friends or family's houses, they'd have different games, so you play it or you check it out. But maybe you didn't actually play it, but you watched them. I don't think I ever
owned that Superman game.
Yeah, I never owned it. I remember renting it at Blockbuster.
Damn, you're old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a memory that doesn't happen anymore. The whole rental, almost. Well, I wouldn't say tradition. What's like a word that's a step above tradition? Like not seance, but a ritual.
Yeah.
It was like the Blockbuster was a ritual, and I missed like wandering around, contemplating. Like you have your parents, or maybe you did some chores. You have money for one game. You wander around. You pick like 3 or 4. Then you're standing and looking at the backs, reading everything, reading the descriptions. Like, God damn, which one should I choose? Yep. And then, but there's also sometimes that would backfire. You would get home. I had to ride my bike. It was pretty far. And I'd ride my bike all the way home. You get it in, you start playing, and it sucks.
Yes. Oh God.
But I think there's beauty in that. I think that era is missed in a sense because like then I mean there was always that wandering around in the video store, right? Because like for me it wasn't like I didn't live in I don't want to say a super bad neighborhood, but I didn't live in like the nicest one where we had a Blockbuster close to us. It was just like a mom and pop video store, right?
Yeah.
And you always kind of just wander around, look at the section you shouldn't look at.
They could have put it in your area because you'd probably get shot.
No, seriously though, I grew up like borderline Linwood, Compton. I'm not sure if you're familiar where that's from, like LA area, and it was just really rough in the area where we grew up at. But there was like this mom and pop video store that everybody hit, and that's one of the things
you'd be happy. You grab Donkey Kong, then you walk out, and some guy be run up to you. Give me that Donkey Kong. Give me that Donkey Kong.
No, but it was just one of those things where it's like you also had to, like you said, right? It would suck if you sat there, picked 3 or 4 games, and you said, all right, this is the one I'm running with. You go home, you're super excited, and then you're like, shit, now I gotta wait till tomorrow or the next day or whenever it is that you had to turn it in.
My parents decide to go back.
Take me back.
It would suck if you have to wait the whole 7 days, because wasn't it 7-day rentals? Isn't that what it was?
For the most part, I think that place did like a 3-day thing.
Yeah, they had different things back then, right?
Yeah.
Like this is a 3-day
there
rental.
were different times depending on,
I remember that.
I never did the console rentals. Did you guys ever rent?
No, I didn't. But I had a friend who did that often. I had one friend I remember. What was it? Maybe middle school, maybe even elementary. I can't recall. But I had one friend who did that a lot. Like he never bought the consoles. His parents always just rented them, and I felt like it was like, I don't remember how much it was. I don't remember at all. Yeah. But I would think that eventually it would just end up being a waste of money. You might as well just buy one.
I don't remember the exact price, but I remember thinking that's so expensive. And if I rent it 2 times, 3 times, I might as well buy it. Yeah. That was my thinking.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. And I remember he did that. I think he rented a 64 one time. And then I have some kind of memory of him renting maybe PlayStation. It might have been.
Yeah, see, wouldn't the smarter thing have been to like go to Chaz's house, somebody who has the game already, go to Kate's house or somebody that has the game, save up what you would have spent in those 2 or 3, 4 times that you rented it, and just been like, hey, boom, I got a new system. Now we could play at my house too.
Renting them. But I remember him doing that because I remember the big black boxes that it came in. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And you'd open it up and it'd be like the foam compartments where everything's at. I have a vague memory of that. I can even almost remember like the feeling, the touch of the actual black box that it came in, but I don't know, I felt like it was a waste of time and money. Might as well just buy it.
See, and I'm very particular about my stuff too. Like I don't care about like too much stuff or whatever. Like some stuff everybody could use it, I don't care. But then like with certain things, like especially if it was like real dear to me, like I had like a really important game, like let's just say Mario for example. Like I'd have to watch you play it just to make sure you don't slam the cartridge or make sure you don't do this.
So then, like
I think kind of like a Schmeagle, right? My precious. You know, I wouldn't want too many other hands on it. So like it's that renting, that feeling of somebody else played it or abused it.
Remember when people would come over, especially when you were kids, and they'd have like Cheeto hands and shit?
Oh no, I'd make them wash them hands.
Your fucking hands off, Mike.
I'd
wash your hands.
I'd make them wash their hands or something. You better use some baby wipes and figure it out.
Or like when you're a kid and you see a kid, there's always that one kid that's picking his fucking nose all the time.
Yeah.
Like, dude, what the fuck, dude?
That was me.
Yeah, just greasy hands in general. Like you always had to look out for greasy hands in general.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you guys live now? Where are you guys located?
We're both in California. I'm located currently in Orange County, California. That's where I'm currently living.
The promised land. I live in San Pedro, so it's kind of like where the 110 ends. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the freeways and stuff out here, but it's pretty cool. I like it.
You're like borderline though. You're like borderline Pedro PV. Don't be shy. He's at the nicer part.
moving on.
I've spent a lot of time out there. I knocked doors in Orange County and surrounding areas for like years.
Oh, really?
Selling alarm systems. Yeah.
Oh,
hustling.
nice. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. I was one of those assholes. Sorry about that. Probably knocked on your door.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I'm currently.
But I loved it, dude. I had a grand time out there.
Oh yeah. No, it's nice
time.
out here. I moved out to Orange County 10 plus years ago, and I love it out here, man. I love it out here. My family's originally from New York, Brooklyn, Bay Ridge.
Okay, that's why I was asking. I got the vibe that you both grew up on the East Coast.
Oh yeah, no, Juice is getting.
I have family out
Juice
there,
has
though.
family. Yeah, but you grew up out here,
No,
though.
yeah. LA
But
guy.
he does. He has family on the East Coast, and then being around me and my family all these years, he probably
A lot of honestly, a lot of that stuck from when I came around you guys. Like I think I kind of started. I don't want to say changing and being a different person, but I think as I grew up, I picked up a lot of the same habits.
Yeah, I mean, you be around. It happens with everybody,
especially with your pops, man. Your pops is a very particular dude. So
he's
like
very East Coast. Yeah.
So after the NES, did you guys both get a Super Nintendo? Is that right?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Because I had the NES, and then I remember somebody in my family got me a Genesis, and then I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who got me my SNES. Doesn't matter. Either way, I had one. Yeah.
So you had a Genesis. Did you both play Genesis? Because a lot of people come on the podcast, and like I would say 80% of them had a SNES, and I can't talk shop about Genesis.
Oh yeah.
You guys, did you play any Genesis games growing up?
Oh hell yeah. I mean, number one, obviously Sonic. I was super, super into Sonic, like major Sonic fanboy. And then such a Sonic fanboy that I have a hard time remembering other Genesis games. Like that's how hardcore into Sonic that I was. But I know I had other ones, like for instance, Gunstar Heroes. I don't know if anybody knows whether you know. That's a great
classic.
game. Oh yeah. Whether listeners may know, Gunstar Heroes was one of my other just all-time favorite Genesis games. I actually played it a lot with my mother. Actually, she was both of my parents were very big into video games, and then also even my grandmother, my mother's mother. Sorry for all that. I was trying to think. My mother's mother, my grandmother. She was even big on games. She had a Game Boy herself and would play like Tetris and Mario and stuff. So I grew up in a family that was really big on games. My entire family, cousins and everything. But Gunstar Heroes, man, I used to play the shit out of it. I remember I did this with a lot of games, but I remember I would fake sick to stay home to play like games that I really loved. I did that with Gunstar Heroes because I wanted to beat it. And then later in life, I did that with Kingdom Hearts as well because I wanted to keep playing it and beat it. And there's another game that's right on the tip of my tongue with Genesis. I can't remember. If I remember, I'll bring it back. I don't think
I had it, but I wasn't as big on some of the games. I think mainly I just honestly played Sonic.
Yeah, I remember
that was just that was just kind of it. Like I had it just because like my mom, Santa, would always every year just try to bring us out with some with a different game, and I think she would try to switch it up for us. But like honestly, I wasn't super big on Genesis, but like I would say like the most memories I've had would have been with Sonic. If anything, that was like the one standout game that I played.
Oh, I got a couple. I'm Googling it right in front of me. I'm cheating, not going off my memory. Toe Jam and Earl. I was gigantic on Toe Jam and Earl. I played Comics Zone like crazy. And there's one Earthworm Jim, but Earthworm Jim wasn't just on Genesis though.
That was on Super.
Yeah, it was also on other stuff. Golden Axe, I played a lot. There's one.
Mortal Kombat, I did.
There it is. I found it. Rocket Knight Adventures. There we go. That's the one I really wanted to say. Rocket Knight Adventures. If nobody knows what Rocket Knight Adventures is, YouTube it. There's tons of people doing videos on Rocket Knight Adventures. It's an awesome Genesis game. It's a classic that doesn't get mentioned enough.
Yeah, those are all big hitters. Rocket Knight is awesome. There's a less heard of sequel called Sparkster.
Oh, I've heard the name, but I've never actually played it. I don't even think I've seen.
It's the same thing. Like it's like for those who don't know, Rocket Knight's like Mario, except for you play a mouse.
Yeah.
Mixed with the movie Rockets. Here you have a rocket pack and you can like dash.
Yeah.
It's all built around this like dashing, and you can dash any direction. That's super fun. You brought up Toe Jam and Earl. That's a big one for two reasons. One, funk and music.
Yes.
Was like and 90s style and hip hop. Like it channeled all that.
Yep.
Two, it's the first game I remember ever having procedurally generated levels. I don't know if that confused you as a kid, but you're so used to like level design being set and memorization and trial and error.
Yes.
And you game over in Toe Jam and Earl and you start over again. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like everything's different.
Yeah. I would play it with my mom. I remember being a little confused for a while. It took a little bit for me to, especially because you're just a kid, It took a little bit for me to like get the hang of it. I was like, the fuck is this? But for some reason I was so intrigued by it. I think because it was so different.
Yeah. And then Patrick actually has this in his first book. He talked to the devs of that game, and no surprise here, but the idea for that game is a direct result of an acid trip.
Oh, shit. Okay.
It makes a lot of sense now.
Oh man, I wish we would have talked to Patrick about Toe Jam and Earl on our episode. We didn't get to that. I didn't. Oh man, I wish we would have talked about that. I would have loved to hear.
He was asking us about different games.
Yeah,
and
yeah. There was
different,
just so many games that we talked about and so many different things we talked about. You can't get to all of them, you know.
You brought up one more Genesis game that I had something to say. What was the first one you brought up after Sonic?
Let me look at it. I said, Gunstar Heroes.
Gunstar Heroes.
Okay, yeah.
That's why I just wanted to, in case anyone hasn't heard of that, if you like Contra, if you like side scrollers, and you like shooting shit, you got to try Gunstar Heroes.
Oh yeah, and they have like different. What would you call them? I don't know what they called them back then, but I guess today you'd kind of call them like power ups in a sense. You have different power ups, different ways that the guns would you could use the guns and different styles of guns. Like it was a great game, dude. And it's
Comic Zone too, by the way. Yeah. It has the couch co-op was awesome.
Yeah.
You brought up Comic Zone. That was, to my opinion, in the 16-bit era. I'm gonna do a video on it because I get balls deep on emulators and and how to make shit more modern and how you can improve things with emulators. I've been working on a video of Comic Zone with different shaders and up-resing it to full 4K.
Oh, nice.
Because I think it has the best sprite work easily of any 16-bit era game. And just in general, the sprite work for that game is outstanding.
Oh yeah, and it was another game that was unique for its time. The way that it was set up to actually be like an actual comic book, and you would jump from panel to panel,
frame to frame.
and pages to pages and things like that. I just thought that was awesome. I wonder if that would work today. Sorry, my bad. I wonder if that would work today. You know, if people would be interested in a game of that style to this day.
I think it would. I mean, Spider-Man. What's it? Shattered Dimension or something? What is it called? Into the Dimensions.
Yeah,
Spider-Verse,
I think it is Shattered Dimensions. I think I could be wrong. I don't know.
Either way, the idea of like moving between like the comic book style of that movie was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever I don't know how they like animated over each frame with like it was awesome.
Yeah, Shattered Dimension. I just Googled it. Yeah. Spider-Man Shattered Dimension.
Yeah, I think that would work. I mean, people like that style on the movie. I don't see why they wouldn't like it on the game.
Oh, wait, you're talking about the movie, Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, the movie.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, yeah.
What is Shattered Dimensions? I knew
Shattered
there was
Dimensions
a Spider-Man.
it was a Spider-Man game it probably came out on several ones. Shattered Dimensions. It's a 2010 Spider-Man game for PS3, Xbox 360, and Wii and Windows. It came out on multiple
Holy
platforms.
shit, I didn't even know this was here. That's kind of what the movie's based off.
Yeah, like several different.
Wow.
I believe I played it, but I don't remember it enough.
Damn, that suit's really sick though.
Yeah,
that first suit?
Yeah. I think that's the 2099 suit, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that is the 2099.
Because normally you see a predominantly red or like a full-on red being the dominant color in the suits.
I believe this game was pretty cool. I don't remember it very much. Yeah, it got a 4.1 out of 5 on some of these ratings, yeah. It might be available. You know what I mean? Xbox Game Pass or some shit.
Yeah.
Might be available.
Damn, we should try that out.
Yeah.
Well, who knows?
So next...
Go ahead.
Next was the Super Nintendo. I want to hear what you, since you didn't have Sega shit, I want a juice box. I want to hear about the Super Nintendo. What were your big hitters on the Super Nintendo?
I know you were big on Mario 3 and Mario World.
Yeah, it was honestly. I focused like a lot on
Mario,
on Mario,
all the Mario games, the Yoshi's
all the Mario.
Stuff.
Yeah,
but I know right away one that you're forgetting because you always bring it up on the show.
What Donkey
Kong?
Yeah, Donkey Kong. Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, sorry, I tend to space out a bit sometimes, man.
He always brings it up, and now that he's getting asked about it, I don't know what game that is. I have no clue.
Watch an episode.
Dude, it happens all the time. With this podcast, like people will be like, "Oh yeah," and then they get in the hot seat, and it happens to me too.
Yeah,
your brain goes blank.
Yeah,
there's too many games.
But yeah, I had a lot of.
Juice will bring it up on our show all the time for no reason. We'll be talking about something else. He's like, "Hey, by the way, Donkey Kong Country. I just wanted to mention it again." And then now here we are.
No, so like I was obviously big on all the Mario games. I played some Star Fox. I was, I played a lot of different games. It's just that if it's not something that really stuck to me, like it's hard for me to talk about. But like also like Mega Man was dope. Street Fighter was dope.
Didn't you play some Contra? I feel like, did you play Contra? Or was that not you? Was that somebody else
that might have been
somebody else we had.
That might have been Mike actually, because Mike was big on Contra. You guys were actually talking about it in one of the episodes.
Yeah,
but
you're right.
yeah, like that's Street Fighter was kind of a one that stuck out besides the Mario games, and then obviously like the Mortal Kombats. I was big on that.
I know. I remember because you spoke about it one time. You liked Mortal Kombat on Nintendo better than you liked it on Genesis you liked it better on Genesis than you liked it on Nintendo consoles because exactly no blood on the Nintendo consoles
which sucks because like that was one of those things that it was just kind of like they're trying to protect the brand kind of thing, but then don't ruin a franchise. Like I mean, if that's what it is, if that's a blood gory kind of game, especially with like the fatalities and stuff like that, you don't want to take that out of there. That's something that was essential to the game.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so like it would have been definitely like the Marios, and then like I was obviously big on like I said Donkey Kong. I played some Zelda, but I wasn't super huge into it. I want to say I played Star Fox
just
more.
By the way, I'm a giant Zelda fan, but I got to tell you, I agree with you on that. When I was younger, the older Zeldas were so confusing and hard for me. Some of them, but later, a little bit later in life, I went back and I was like, okay, it's not what I thought. But when I was younger, I was like, this is there's a lot going on here. You know what I mean? I'm not used to this, and I would jump back to like Mario because it was easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You and I have some parallels, similar time.
Yeah.
The Zelda thing is exactly how I went. I did the music thing. I played in a rock band and then did production, and then it ended up. I also have a very flexible work from home job. Like it's kind of weird.
A lot going on. Yeah.
Are you
my doppelganger?
You're like the cool. You're like the
doppelganger.
And you have a big beard too.
Yeah, dude. I'm growing it even bigger. God damn it. The next thing I got to do is just let my hair grow out, and we'll be good.
Yeah, we'll be good.
Why couldn't we shoot this podcast when I had my fucking beard and we could have been like the bearded brothers or something like that?
Back in the day, Juice had like a really long beard. Like I think it was actually longer than yours, dude.
Yeah, because I grew my shit out. I grew my shit out for like
the regular job he has. He can't have a full.
So
I
the man got you.
Yeah, exactly,
the man got you.
I've been telling him you gotta leave, man. The beard's more important than your bills, bro.
Hey, if I could start an only beards account and just like get paid off for shooting shit like from my beard, nah, dude. Because like,
man.
See that I was very, again, this is one of those tangent moments, but like I was very particular about like how I took care of it with the beard washes, with the beard oils. I had like a special wood comb that I had, and then like
he would eat very, very, very cautiously, like those women that like don't want to mess up their lipstick and stuff.
Oh hell no, I wouldn't care. This shit was rough.
Does it taste good? It tastes great. It tastes good.
I'd have leftover peaks on my beard somewhere, you know. But I think I was working with Amazon prior to working security because like I took like a little pause just because the hospital I was working at, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Long story short, I grew it out for like I think 10 months, 12, close to a year, and then I got the interview, and I had to shave.
But even before that, when you were working, because like I said, I've been in the cannabis industry for quite a long time, and me and my dad together, and we had shops. We had 3 different shops all together. Well, my dad had 5. Either way, I had 3, but irrelevant. And Juice, that's actually how we met. Sidebar, but just that's how we met. He came in every day trying to get a job, and we just didn't want to give him a chance. We were like, nah, he ain't cutting it. And then finally, we were like, nah, let's do it. And then he was actually like one of our best employees ever. Ended up managing like almost all 3 of the shops, and then we became best friends ever since then. And when you were working at the shops, that's when you had like a glorious Gandalf style beard, dude.
Yeah, I miss it, man.
Sorry about that, Kate.
No, that makes sense. I also, your Instagram today, you got thick boy, bro. You could definitely smack some people around.
Yeah,
that's why.
But I'm short though. I'm short, and like dude. I'm like 5'4", but built like 230 pounds.
He's like a Blanca. I don't know how tall Blanca is when he stands up, but when he's down, that's what you remind me of.
He's always real hunched over. But nah, so like I used to I got real heavy at one point. It was just like a different time in my life. I think I was up to like 250 pounds, which for 5'4", that's like horrible. But
wait, you're 5'4"?
Yeah, dude, I'm short. I'm short and thick.
I'm short too. I'm 5'7", and I'm 190. I'm a little bit thick too.
Yeah,
dude, I weigh like 190 on one thigh and shit. Like,
I'm like about 5'6" maybe, and I currently weigh like maybe like 130 right now.
You're pretty lean.
I'm a
you're pretty lean.
Yeah, but nah, dude. So yeah, I got real big into lifting. It helped me, and then I stopped doing cardio, and then I found that I like to eat and lift a lot. So then like it turned into like this combination of like fat and like big shoulders kind of thing, and it worked. I totally got a 6-pack under the beard somewhere.
Trust me, it's there.
That's how I am. I mean, I like to work out. I work out hard, but I eat and drink harder.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
the problem.
Yeah. My thing is like I drink a lot of beer. Well, I used to drink a lot of beer, and then like obviously that drinking beer, you're gonna fucking get a little thick and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's call it dirty bulking.
Yeah.
What's your guys' so kind of moving up? I wanted to what for each one of you is like the golden era console. Is it something we've already talked about, or is it a newer console?
You go ahead first. Juice.
64.
Oh damn! So like I was. Ooh, no, you go first.
I feel like I know this for you just because you talk about it on our show a lot.
Yeah, honestly,
but I don't want to speak for you though.
Yeah, I mean you kind of are.
Yeah.
No,
See,
honestly,
this is what Juice likes. No, I'm just kidding.
Like bullshit aside, I think it was 64.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
64.
That's what you did. That's what you seem to talk about the most on our show.
But I will say though, for the short run that it had, and it was such a shame, but for the short run that it had, Dreamcast was way ahead of its fucking
I'm so
time.
glad that you said that. I'm so glad that you said
was
that.
so ahead of its time. And then if you look at the format for how like the Xbox controllers are set up, if you look at certain formats of how even some of these third-party companies set up their controllers, it was all really formatted off of.
I mean, look at the Xbox controller in general, like the original, the Duke. You know what I mean?
The OG big one. Yeah,
exactly. It's very clear that they took inspiration.
And those, you know what it is? It's because like coming back to the thing about being thick, right? I got these fucking sausage fingers, right? So like it's real rough when I'm playing like on a PlayStation control
or a fucking Joy-Con
or a Joy-Con.
Oh, the Switch.
Yeah.
You know
yes, that's the worst part about that damn Switch.
Horrible. Besides the fact that they don't work and they break down and you send them in and they come back
Joy-Con
worse.
Drift.
That sucks too.
Yeah.
But like honestly, I think when they came out with that, I think it was such a game changer. Clearly, because a lot of people modeled their stuff after that. Yeah. I was like I said, I was big on 64. I love 64, but Dreamcast is definitely one of those that stuck out for me as a child, and just because of where I was at. And then the game, I always forget the damn name of the game, but it was a fighter game where you would collect like jewels and shit. Like once you beat somebody,
Power Stone. I got you, bitch.
Oh,
there you
man.
go. There you
we
go.
have been trying. I've been trying to figure that out on our show too. He talks about that a lot. And we always think of today's the day we're gonna figure it out.
Power Stone is the shit. Yeah, the game is awesome.
Yeah, it was just. Honestly, I think it wasn't. It sucked that it had such a short run, and then like that boxing game too. I love that boxing game.
Ready to Rumble.
Yeah, Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
So I love shooters and like fighting games. I got into some sports games, but honestly, I would say like hands down, I'd say 64, because then it was also kind of changing the pace of where things were during that gaming period. Yeah. In my mind, at least for my age group, because like I know it's different for everybody. Yeah, you know. But I
gotta tell you, man, you made some really good points here. I'm not gonna lie, and I hate that I always do this with so many things. Like we just did this on our latest episode that's out right now with Amit Cosplay. He asked us, what did he ask us again? Our favorite games of all time, right? And I just
20 different games.
Yeah, I gave him like 15 different fucking games. I just cannot choose one, man. But I do gotta agree with you. N64 is a standout because it was another system that was revolutionary. I mean, everything that they did, even though some may argue about the controller design, it was still revolutionary in the sense of adding the Joy-Con, adding like the Z button, the C buttons. Like that's one thing I gotta give it to Nintendo. Sometimes it's a hit or miss, but they stay in their own lane and they do a lot of revolutionary things that, again, sometimes are hit or misses, but you do see other consoles take certain things from Nintendo a lot, minus the amount of people that took from Dreamcast. I agree with that as well. Man, I got to tell you, I got three really standout ones that I can't put a number one on, and it's 64, Dreamcast, and then PlayStation 2 for me, just because the amount of games that the PS2 had, the amount of awesome games, I mean, that just stand out, and it was like kind of right before Xbox got into the mix, and then right when Dreamcast kind of failed, unfortunately. PS2 is a real big standout for so many things, and I mean, yeah, sorry, I just can't pick one, but those three are like some of my top-notch gems and as far as consoles go.
The PS2 always has, I mean, it has the greatest selling console of all time achievement. So like you can't argue with that. Like it just is what it is.
You can't knock the PS2. I mean, the sales speak for itself, and the amount of, like I said, the amount of games the PS2 had, dude. It had so many phenomenal games, in my opinion.
I wonder how many, I'm going to look that up, because I've wondered what system has the most, let's fucking look it up. What console has the most games? It's got to be PS2.
I think it's got to be, dude.
It is. Yeah. Yep, the PS2.
Yeah.
PS2 games.
I'm looking up something else.
This is just the headline. I want to see how many. Tell me the actual number, Google.
Is PS2 still the top selling as of to date? I'm looking. I'm looking that up right now, and I'm seeing
Switch is close.
I know this.
The DS is The DS has been like close to PS2 for a while.
Man, because the one that I'm looking up right now is the Guinness World Records is the first thing that pops up, but it's from 2018.
But
who's the number one?
That's what I'm trying to find. Number one is PS2, but it's from 2018. So
still though, in 2018, for it to be that relevant, still have 157.68 million in sales.
From what I see here on another website, and I put 2020, it seems that this is what it says. In the 20 years since its release, the PS2 has become the best-selling video game console of all time. As of September 2020, it has sold almost 158 million units across the world.
And you know what these
and
you know what these places also don't take into account, because I'm assuming this is just running off of like a online like Macy's and stuff like that. It's not counting the number of people, like I don't want to say early scalpers and stuff. But that was still way, that would still record
as a general. Yeah, even if it was scalpers, it doesn't matter. It's somebody that paid for it and bought it. Like it's still just sold in general. So
I was just thinking like private party transactions and stuff.
So the PS2 still,
but you're right. It doesn't. What it doesn't track though is anyone who sold their PS2 to somebody else and got rid of it. That means more than 150 million people have played a PS2 by a long shot. It's just that's how many units were manufactured and sold.
I think that's
you
what
are
I was
right.
trying to get at.
It over 2,000 titles for the PS2, and that's like so far above the next is Xbox 986. So more than double the next competitor PS2 had. It does that. That's a shit ass ton of games.
Yeah, that's a lot.
If you would think, right, like if I'm PlayStation or if I'm Sony and stuff like that, and I'm looking at what Xbox is doing with the Game Pass and the fact that people love it just because of the nostalgia factor, right? And I think you mentioned in your more recent episode that you've never bought an Xbox. I'm sure you've played them, but I don't think I don't think you actually bought one. But
I love the Game Pass thing. I'm not going to shit on that.
Look at the formula they got going with the Game Pass, right? And then if you make something to, like, let's just say for the next gen, obviously with like PlayStation 5, right? This is out. If they were to make some kind of a Game Pass essentially for PlayStation that was backwards compatible, you know how many people would shoot down like 2,000 titles alone, dude?
Which we might be talking about that later today on our episode. I have a little note. I didn't mention it yet, but there's who was it? I don't remember. One of the execs at PlayStation said that they didn't really give any details, but they just said they'll have an answer to Xbox's Game Pass soon. So maybe they're finally planning something. Which earlier this year, remember we talked about it earlier this year. The head of Sony said it didn't work for them. They have no plans of doing anything like that, and just is what it is. They didn't even apologize or say sorry to anybody that wanted it. They just like, nah, it's not for us. And that sucks.
Until they did the math. If you think about like I've never owned an Xbox, but I have Games Pass.
Okay. You have a PC, right?
Yeah.
I have a PC.
So you can still benefit from it. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I mean. Like that's what I love about it.
There's like 20. How many people have Games Pass? It's like millions, right?
Yeah.
And it's $15 a month. So they're just printing money.
Oh yeah.
Every month.
Yeah.
And then and I mean it's also like obviously it sucks, but then you also look at the time we're in right now, right? All this stay-at-home bullshit. Everybody's at home. You can't go out. Yeah. Your storefronts closed down.
GameStops were closed fucking forever. Like so they weren't even open at all for a good
there
period
has to be like the digital world is kind of where it's going to, where it's like you have to buy something or have something available. The only thing that sucks about that is going to be like your download times, like for big games and shit like that. Or
if you're a collector and you want physical things, which is more but so clearly that's like myself.
Clearly that's where it's headed.
Yeah. So it would be dumb for PlayStation to not capitalize on that.
I agree.
It really is.
For each one of you guys, what's it doesn't have to be like an actual part of a game. It could be wrapped up in a social situation or something. But what's your most cherished gaming memory? Like the best experience, a LAN party, story, something that made you cry. That's a hard one, but
that is
nothing. You got to give me something good.
Nothing that's ever made me cry, but I'll tell you this.
Nothing that's ever made me cry because I'm a fucking man.
What?
All right,
you've never cried from a game?
I've never cried, bro, because I'm a fucking man.
Have you played Last of Us or Last of Us 2?
Yeah. No, I mean I've had
you didn't cry?
I've had some sad moments, but I don't think I've ever cried.
Never cried.
I've had a very happy moment because
as he bench presses right now live on the show. I never cry, bro, ever.
I would say one of the best fucking memories, and it's a recent memory actually. Chaz used to fucking hate Call of Duty.
Yeah,
he used to hate Call of Duty, and I would always talk so much shit about, come on, man, you got to get on it. It's better than World of Warcraft. Comparing games that have nothing to do with each other, right?
Well, I also let's give him a little side story.
I know, but that's where I was.
Side story is I briefly worked at Activision, and I was a QA. I was a junior senior systems engineer, and I worked on one of the Call of Duties, and it just tired me the fuck out, dude.
So for me, it was so funny that we started playing Warzone, and they were like obviously they did the cross-platform stuff, and it was free for everybody. Obviously, he played it so much, and I was able to convince him to actually buy the fucking game. And then he started buying the little passes and shit. Like obviously, if you played it, like so you get skins and Call of Duty points and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it was between that and then all the fucking, like he said, we were in the cannabis industry. We would always fucking play
Smash Bros,
Mario Kart. Smash Bros is one of the biggest games that I still swear I'd whoop everybody's ass with Meta Knight.
Dude, wait, who do you play as?
Meta Knight.
Oh, I'm gonna fuck you up. That's my character. It's going down.
See, man. Hey,
we're gonna record this shit and may the best Meta Knight win.
I'm gonna have to get my stream set up going, man. But
admit it, Juice. He cried when I finally joined him and had a good time in Call of Duty. That's why it's such a big moment for him. He finally got his boys together.
That was a big moment.
I remember when I first joined. I remember hearing this right here. I remember hearing, I'm just so happy you guys are here. It's all right. Just let him know.
It was the sniffles, dude.
Just let him know, dude.
Between that and my friend also, Tony Chavez, on Instagram or whatever, he's like Tony Chavez, the photographer or something like that. But
he was big on Battlefield and would shit on Call of Duty.
We got him to buy the game.
And
so like
he got all of like the boys at the same time who weren't into Call of Duty. He got us all into Call of Duty at the same time. So that was his moment.
So like, I don't know, fucking Activision, send me a game that's not going to suck up all my memory on my Xbox. That I can fucking play.
For me, man, I have honestly, I'm a huge gamer. For everybody that's listening to, I'm like a huge gamer from consoles to PC and everything. Like I don't necessarily, I have in the past, of course, but I don't necessarily anymore shit on like any consoles or anything. Like I just love games, dude.
Me too.
It's so hard for me to choose just like one moment, but I gotta tell you, I do have some standout moments. Besides, I won't mention these ones because people always mention like Mario and like the old school stuff, and I'll stray away from that one this time. Even though I do have very gigantic standout moments, and I'll go with something different. I got two really good standout moments. One is the Assassin's Creed franchise, which tends to have like very mixed feelings, and I kind of agree as well. I'm more of a older Assassin's Creed fan than I am of the more so recent ones, and I gotta tell you, man, I was so engulfed in the Ezio story, the Ezio trilogy, during that time of Assassin's Creed. One, my family is of Italian descent, so it was really cool to like see. I know it's not like 100% real history and stuff like that, but Assassin's Creed, I've learned a lot of fucking history from Assassin's Creed, dude.
They do their homework.
Yeah,
dude.
They do.
That's one part about Assassin's Creed,
especially in the
it's
older
awesome.
ones, dude. Like they were so much more accurate in the older ones with certain events, and it was just so cool to like see those times and like Italy and like things that like I've heard my grandparents say, and like I know it wasn't their time that they lived in because it was way back, but I'm just saying, I don't know, I kind of just related to it, and I really loved it. And then spoiler alert, when Ezio dies, I mean, it's pretty goddamn long time ago. So if there's anybody that gets mad at this, it's your own fucking fault by now, okay? When Ezio died, that was a moment where I did get choked up. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, man, I was just so attached to this character. Like I really loved this fucking character, dude. And his storyline, by far, for me, is the best storyline in all of Assassin's Creed. 100% for me.
I would say in Assassin's Creed, easy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Easy.
And then I'm a gigantic World of Warcraft fan. We just talked about this on our last episode briefly. They're celebrating their 16th year anniversary this year, and like right now, I think it just passed actually. And I've been playing since 2006. 14, right? Yeah, for like 14 years. Of those 16 years, I've been playing World of Warcraft. I only stopped playing for about 9 months to 1 year. And I'm just once again, I was way more into it than I am now. I'm still into it. I still play it regularly, but I don't play it like I used to.
Until Shadowlands recently.
Until Shadowlands recently, I've been a lot more into it. When I first stumbled upon WoW, it was the first time I've played an MMORPG, and it's the first time I was like really engulfed in a game of that style, and I was just so amazed by the like the characters and what you could do and who you could be, and then I got engulfed in the storyline. I was like, what the fuck? And then the music was so amazing, because if anybody follows our Instagram, Side Project Podcast on Instagram, shameless plug, and you see that I do VGM picks every now and then. And VGM stands for video game music. I'm really big on video game music as well, and World of Warcraft has some amazing video game music, dude. So sorry I ran on this a little bit long, but those two,
that's good.
I just wanted to give something different, because you usually hear people say like the Marios as their standouts and things like that, and like the old school games. I wanted to give something a little different. So my pick is definitely Assassin's Creed and World of Warcraft.
If I was going to go old school, though, I'd want to say the first time I played, well, not the first time I played, but like when my mom bought me Street Fighter, I had came home from the hospital because I had surgery on this side, which would be my left side.
Yeah.
Like I had like this little weird like ball. I don't want to say it was a fucking tumor. I don't know what the
cyst
fuck it was.
Or some shit, probably.
Yeah, it was probably like a cyst or something. I got it removed, and then
I didn't know that.
I come home, and then boom, there it was, Street Fighter.
Yep.
So
waiting for you.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah. So and then of course, like, you know, like you fucking milk, like, oh man, I feel sick, and then like so like I'm sitting there just
I'm having
playing.
side effects from the surgery. I gotta stay home.
Yeah, just like start randomly twitching for no reason and shit.
All I know is I gotta play Blanca. That's all I know.
Old school, definitely. I'd want to say like one of like fond memories would have been that, just because like, and then it pissed off my brother so much, because like obviously she did it to make me feel better, right? She didn't do it out of like spite, like, look, I'm gonna get your brother all this stuff. But it was just more like, I want to take care of you because I know you just got out of surgery and this and that.
Here's
and,
the game you've been wanting.
Yeah, you know, and like it was just that's probably one of my fonder memories, old school wise. New wise, like I said, it was turning everybody on to Warzone, Call of Duty, like all my boys, obviously, in my surrounding circle.
That's similar to one of my. I don't know if I've told this one on the pod. I have a similar memory. I wasn't sick, but I would always go to Toys R Us, or I think at the time it was called Media Play or FYE before it went out of business.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
and my mom would go like fabric shopping and shit. Was boring as hell, but next door was like Toys R Us or FYE. There was a Toys R Us and an FYE right next to each other, so she let me go, and I would go play the kiosk games, or just kill time playing the games on display. And I remember playing this game on PS1. It's pretty obscure. I doubt you've heard. It's called Einhander. It's like a side scroller shump. It's like a shoot 'em up.
I don't think I've heard of it. What's it called?
Heard of that.
Einhander. It's like a German name. Einhander, and the E has like the umlauts above it.
Oh
like the
yeah,
German,
yeah. I see.
Whatever they're called.
No, I don't know. Actually, you know
Anyway,
what? The screenshot
so
looks familiar.
I was playing it just on the display, and my mom came and said, "Okay, it's time to go home." And she's like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's this game Einhander. It's cool." And she goes, "Go grab it. I'll buy it for you."
Oh, that's awesome.
And this was not. My mom did not do shit like this. It's like the one time this has ever happened.
Yeah.
And I was in shock. Like, what? She's like, yeah, just go buy it. I asked her about it years later, because it's not, my mom's very frugal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, oh, I remember that. I think you had like come home with straight A's or something. And I wanted to like just be
awesome,
nice.
dude.
Be nice. Do something to kind of show you, that thank, for doing it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Some
Hell
shit. Yeah, similar. Like that. So anyway, mom getting you a gift for a game. I mean, that has to tug at your heartstrings.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
how could it not?
Not Juices, though, because he never cries.
Yeah. Because I'm a
He
man.
never cries, apparently.
I never cry.
He's a real man. He's too buff. He can't cry with all those muscles.
I was just seeing this fucking meme float around TikTok where like there's this guy that's heartbroken and shit, and he's lifting weights. He's like, "What do we do with our feelings? Hug them with our muscles." And then he's like, "What do we do when we start crying or something like that? Build more muscles to hug them." And it's just like the guy just fucking lifting.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. If I could fucking,
We got to wrap up.
Yeah, no worries, man.
I was just gonna say we got to wrap up soon. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but you brought up TikTok.
Yeah.
How fucking smart is the TikTok algorithm at showing you shit you like?
Oh yeah, it is
The best.
I want to say
It's insane.
I want to say it's good, right? But I have kind of like little mixed feelings about TikTok initially, just because of all the shit that was kind of surrounding it when I first started being on it.
Yeah,
And
when
then-
you first hop on,
Yeah.
it's just like teenage girls dancing because it doesn't know what you like. Yet.
And I was not,
Yeah.
I was
hate
not
that.
down with that
Yeah.
shit. But I
now
started
it just shows me
filtering.
a ton of game stuff and animal stuff because I like animals. I'm an animal guy.
Yeah. Watch out, Mike Tyson.
It gets me with,
come out with a fucking cub over here, the side project cub. This is gonna be sitting in the middle of the table growling while we film.
Yeah, man.
But nah, it's really fucking good. I like it. I have fun on it. I look at a lot of steak videos and I noticed that you have a fucking Traeger grill, so that's fucking dope. You were cooking ribs on back in October, I think it was, or something like that. I was scrolling. I was stalking your page, how you stalked us. So I was like, I'm gonna do my research. That man has a Traeger and a beard. That's a good guy.
Nice.
So I started watching a lot of food stuff, and then obviously, like, you know, you get the regular comedy bullshit on there. But I was real big on cooking stuff, and cooking and gaming. I would watch a lot of streamers through there and learn about other streamers because of TikTok.
Yeah, there's a lot of cosplay and streamer shit on TikTok for sure. Yeah. All right, last question, and then I got to wrap up for the next episode.
Yeah,
because you guys do BGM best. You don't have to pick a particular song, but which game, in your opinion, has the all-time best soundtrack?
Oof, Mario, right off the bat.
What?
Mario,
really?
right
out
off
of
the
everything,
bat.
Mario.
Yeah. You know what? It goes hand in hand for me with Mario and Zelda. To be honest with you, Mario and Zelda.
Okay, I can see Zelda. I've just never thought of Mario's. I've always thought Mario soundtracks were like perfect for while you're playing, but they don't get stuck in my head later, like when I'm not.
I'm telling you guys, I am a gigantic video game music guy. That's so much that I actually own like 3,000 plus tracks of different video game music soundtracks, like from all different franchises and stuff. And I gotta tell you that Mario and Zelda take up probably fucking like 80% of what I've got. To be honest with you,
that's a tough one though.
For you?
Damn.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, for me, 100% Mario and Zelda. They go hand in hand. Like I can't even pick a 1 or a 2 between those two. Mario and Zelda are just my top fucking video game music of all time for me.
Damn, that's a rough one for me, man. I probably should have gone first, so
you didn't have to.
So I didn't have to think too hard, man. Shit. I mean, I like Sonic video game music, but I can't really pinpoint a specific like.
Why are you thinking more like cinematic style, Cade?
I mean, I was thinking in my mind, there's certain games where the soundtrack, like I can remember every song, and like they just like it stuck to my brain really good. Whereas I've never played Mario and been like, I don't like this song. That's never happened. Yeah, but I also don't remember it outside of playing it.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody's different. You know what I mean? Everyone's different.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I mean, I really like Sonic's video game music, but I can't pinpoint.
Sonic is so 90s though too. And when you say Sonic, I do want to clarify this just because it's my personal thing here. When you think of Sonic, you're talking about the old school Sonic music, right? Well, yeah. Not today's Sonic music.
No.
Okay, thank fucking God.
No. I was about to get kicked off the show right now, dude. If I looked the wrong way and shit, like that's the last time we saw Juice. That was a real
genuine thank fucking God. He was really worried for a second.
Man, I was gonna have to start doing this myself from now on. You know?
I'd say classic Sonic music, man. Sonic video game music.
Hey, Chemical Zone.
Chemical Plant Zone. Hell
that's like one of the most famous songs. Yeah, that's a big one. Dude.
I actually really, I know we got to wrap up, but I actually really just wanted to. I wanted to do like we can't do it because since we do YouTube, our show on YouTube and stuff, we don't want to get copyright. But I wanted to do with a group of our friends and everybody, and then whoever else wanted to join. If we can get people like other podcasts or anybody, big collaboration. I wanted to do like a quiz type thing or a trivia type thing of who can guess snippets of video game music and see if they can guess like the name of the song or the franchise that it's in or something. I haven't fleshed out all the ideas.
You know what you could do, and you won't get copyright violated. You just don't use official versions. Use like links to someone who's covered it.
That works.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because we're always so worried about getting dinged on YouTube since they're so fucking strict these days. You know.
I think that if you use like because when people do cover songs, like they can't monetize them, but they can use them to get exposure. Yeah. And so I think that means that you can, if you can't play like the original from, you should be able to use it. I think it's fair use. I double check before you do it, but you might have a loophole there.
The other way we were going to do it was just maybe throwing it up like straight up to IG, you know, just throwing it like on IGTV or something because they don't ding you for that shit.
Yeah.
Nope, definitely not. All right, dude. Hey, plug your shit. Tell everyone where they can find you, and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, man. Chazzy, if you're looking for me, that's me. You can find me at IG Hates Chazzy. That's my personal.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
Mine's is Captain
That's my person.
That's my personal, man. I'm going to throw my email and all that in there.
Hit me up, bro.
DM me sometime. Captain _Juicebox, the best looking podcaster out there, man.
And if you're looking for us as a whole, the actual podcast itself, you can find us at Side Project Podcast on Instagram. Instagram, and we are Side Project Podcast on YouTube and Apple Podcasts and everything where all podcasts stream and everything like that. Everything is Side Project Podcast, and it's Project with a K.
K, not a
With
C.
a K.
Yes.
Yeah. You got that Mortal Kombat edginess.
Exactly.
Combat with the K.
Yeah, exactly, man. Get over here. Which, by the way,
Juicebox is
your
gonna
name,
fuck you up with those muscles. What?
your name, Cade, for some reason, it reminds me of a Mortal Kombat character. I don't know if you take that as a good thing or not, but I'm saying it as a great thing. I feel like, you know, when they're like Scorpion, Smoke, and it's like Cade, and it shows you with the sunglasses and the beard and everything.
I did a video that a while ago. I should probably try to reuse it, where I spent admittedly thousands of dollars on video game t-shirts.
Oh, shit.
One of my dumb things that I've done.
Okay.
And I did a video where I stood and then I like took a shot of me wearing all these different t-shirts and edited between them, and I overdubbed the Mortal Kombat sounds like when I switched characters.
Nice.
It's like I wake up. Yeah. I gotta. I was back in the beginning and I made it a minute long, which is too long. I need to like cut it down to 15 seconds and redo it.
That's cool as hell, though.
Yeah. I want to do this again. Like I could definitely talk to you guys for another hours.
Yeah,
but I'm out
definitely,
of time.
dude.
So let's do it again.
Yeah, man. We actually want
I
to have
think
you on
people
ours
enjoy
too.
it.
We'll figure out some stuff. We got a couple other guests lined up. We're trying to figure out where we can put everybody and et cetera, especially with the holidays coming up. And dude, thank you for having us on, by the way, man. I mean, this was really
we
cool.
Appreciate
dude.
it.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, absolutely. No problem. I like podcasters, one, because they can record themselves.
Yeah.
Two, they know how to talk. And I don't know. I didn't have any podcasters as guests up until like 5 episodes ago. And then I'm like, dude, this is way better.
Yeah.
They know how to, like, I'm just gonna have podcasters on. It's so much easier.
Yeah. Same here with us, man. We've been through a couple guests, not to shame anybody. Everybody's been great, but as far as like audio stuff goes, sometimes it gets a little rough. You know?
Yeah.
They're just unfamiliar and unexperienced. You know, that's all it is.
Yep. All right, everyone, check it out. Side Project Podcast. We'll see you again later. Bye-bye.
Bye.